There are moments when life becomes too quiet. Not the kind of silence that soothes you, but the kind that startles you. That gnawing emptiness in your chest that shows up uninvited, between thoughts, between tasks, between conversations. You try to distract yourself, but nothing works. Music sounds dull. Conversations feel hollow. Even your own thoughts seem like they're playing on repeat. And then, without warning, a question breaks through the silence. It's not loud, but it's powerful. What if everything I believe about my life is incomplete? You weren't looking for this video. That's what makes this moment unsettling. You stumbled upon it in the middle of your day, maybe while scrolling aimlessly, maybe in the middle of a sleepless night. You thought you were killing time, but something deeper was pulling you here. This wasn't an accident. There's something strange happening inside you, isn't there? A shift, a tension, a quiet kind of chaos. You can't explain it, but you feel it. And if you're honest, it's been building for days, maybe even years. But only now, in this exact moment, it's become impossible to ignore. At first glance, this may just seem like another video with cryptic words and philosophical undertones. But stay long enough and you'll feel it. This is not entertainment. This is a trigger, a key, a frequency that only activates when you're finally ready to look beyond the veil of the ordinary. And if you've heard this far, it means you're ready. But here's the strange part. Most people won't feel what you're feeling right now. They'll watch this and shrug, scroll past it, label it as too deep, too weird, or too much. That's the apathy speaking, the numbness of a world desensitized to truth, the collective coldness that makes real transformation feel uncomfortable. We live in a world where being indifferent is easy, where not caring is fashionable, where the depth of one's soul is replaced by likes, follows, and 10-second dopamine hits. That indifference is a defense mechanism, because it's safer to feel nothing than to be astonished by the truth. But you're still capable of awe. Something inside you still whispers, there's more. More than the routine, more than the struggle, more than the noise. That whisper is not weakness. It is your initiation. It is life tapping you on the shoulder, saying, wake up. Most people won't listen. They'll return to scrolling, to binging, to surviving. But you stayed. You felt something stir. And that is what separates you from the masses. Not because you're better, but because you're finally aware of how numb you had become. And that moment of awareness, that very flicker of surprise, that's the spark. It's the emotional jolt that breaks the trance. It's the soul's way of saying, you've waited long enough. What comes next won't be easy. You may feel exposed, vulnerable, even skeptical. But stay open, because what follows is not just information, it's revelation. Right now, a door is opening. You don't need to force it. You don't need to believe every word. You just need to really feel what's rising in you. That strange mix of curiosity and discomfort, that is your compass. Follow it. You're not lost. You're being guided. And before you label this as just another motivational video, ask yourself this. If this was just random, why does it feel so specific? Why do these words sound like they were waiting for you? This is not coincidence. This is alignment. The field is responding to something inside you. A shift is beginning. And once it starts, there is no going back. Let's be honest. You've tried. You've followed the advice. You've read the books, repeated the affirmations, even forced a smile when everything inside you was breaking. You've done the right things. And yet, here you are, still stuck. Still waking up with that invisible weight on your chest. Still wondering why the life you want feels like it belongs to someone else. There's a kind of sadness that doesn't look like tears. It hides behind routines. It laughs politely at parties. It scrolls through social media pretending to be fine while silently screaming, why does it always feel like something's missing? And underneath that sadness, deeper still, lives frustration. Not just with the world, but with yourself. You look around and see people thriving, or at least pretending to. Meanwhile, you're circling the same situations, the same self-doubt, the same invisible walls. And no matter how much effort you give, something always pulls you back. That something feels personal, like life is rigged against you, like the universe is playing a joke you're not in on. And the worst part? You can't even explain it. You just feel it, like you've been trying to run with your feet tied to the floor. Let's call it what it is: emotional exhaustion. Not from laziness, but from the cycle of hope and disappointment. You build yourself up, a new habit, a new plan, a new mindset, and then reality comes crashing in. A job falls through. A relationship crumbles. A door closes. And you fall with it, questioning if it's even worth trying again. How many times have you said, maybe this is just who I am? Not with peace, but with defeat. But here's the truth no one told you. You're not broken. You're out of alignment. You are not failing because you lack potential. You're frustrated because your external reality no longer fits the frequency of your internal truth. The life you're living is based on outdated programming, patterns built on fear, self-protection, and scarcity. And your soul is screaming to break free. That scream is what you feel when you wake up tired even after sleeping. When you look around and feel disconnected. When the things that once made you happy now feel empty. But here's the part that hits hardest. It's not the world that's keeping you small. It's the beliefs you've unknowingly agreed to. Beliefs like, I'm not good enough unless I succeed. Love is earned through sacrifice. If I stop grinding, I'll fall behind. These are not truths. They're contracts. And you've been living by them. You've built an entire identity on surviving, and now you're being asked to create from a different place. Not out of fear, but out of alignment. Not because you hate where you are, but because you finally feel you're meant for more. That shift? It hurts. Not because you're weak, but because you're shedding the self that was only ever a defense mechanism. That old version of you was built to survive. But you're not here to survive anymore. You're here to evolve. And before that happens, the old world has to fall apart. The people who once made sense will stop understanding you. The routines that felt safe will feel suffocating. You'll feel like you're unraveling. But you're not falling apart. You're being reconfigured. Still, anger rises. Of course it does. Because you've done your part. You've shown up. You've kept going. You've swallowed your pain to keep moving forward. So why does the universe keep delaying the breakthrough? The answer is brutal but freeing. The universe isn't delaying anything. It's waiting for your vibration to match what you're asking for. You don't manifest what you wish for. You manifest what you vibrate. And that's why it feels like life ignores your words but responds to your energy. You can say, I want peace, but if your vibration is rooted in fear, the field mirrors fear. You can say, I want abundance, but if your dominant emotion is lack, the field mirrors scarcity. It's not punishment, it's precision. So yes, you feel disappointed. Yes, you feel stuck. Yes, it hurts. But what if that pain isn't here to break you? What if it's here to wake you? What if every delay, every failure, every locked door was not rejection, but redirection? A push to stop trying to fix the outside world and finally look inside. To stop shouting into the echo and start changing the source. Because until the vibration changes, the pattern continues. And the good news? You can change it. Even now. Especially now. Have you ever felt peace in a place you didn't expect? Like walking into a room and realizing, for no reason at all, that your shoulders suddenly relaxed. Like catching a sunset just at the right moment and feeling, even if just for a few seconds, that everything was in its right place. That feeling? That's alignment. And when it happens, it surprises you, not because you didn't think it was possible, but because you forgot how good it could feel. You remember the version of yourself who wasn't constantly analyzing, comparing, grinding. The version of you that feels alive. That's the magic of joy. Not the loud, performative kind, but the quiet, radiant kind that creeps in through the cracks of your soul and whispers, this is what you've been waiting for. And maybe that's the strangest part of all, joy doesn't demand effort. It arrives when the inner war pauses. When your mind stops resisting your heart. When you stop trying to control the future long enough to actually feel the present. This is what happens when the field begins to respond. You notice small signs first, tiny synchronicities, sudden clarity, a solution arriving without force. The right song playing at the right moment. A text from someone you were just thinking about. A random stranger saying the exact words you needed to hear. Most people call it coincidence. But now you know better. It's not magic. It's frequency. Your vibration is matching what you asked for. Not through desperation. Not through pressure. But through coherence. The internal chaos begins to fade, and for the first time in a long time, the outside world doesn't feel so heavy. You begin to laugh more, not out of politeness, but from the belly. You feel present, grateful without needing a reason. And here's the real surprise. It was never outside of you. The joy you feel now isn't because something changed out there. It's because something settled in here. Your system, your field, shifted. The weight lifted, and the mirror responded. Real life example? Think of a time when you were in flow, fully immersed in a conversation, a piece of art, a project, a walk in nature. You lost track of time. You felt connected. Everything felt lighter. That wasn't luck. That was resonance. Your internal state harmonized with your environment, and the universe flowed with you. When you start noticing this, it becomes addictive, but in the best way. You begin to crave honesty over drama, stillness over noise, clarity over control. You stop chasing things and start attracting them. Not because you've given up, but because your energy is finally saying, I trust. And trust is magnetic. Trust tells the field, I'm ready to receive, not because I'm desperate, but because I've already aligned. It's not always fireworks. Sometimes it's as simple as waking up without dread. Enjoying your coffee without checking your notifications. Feeling proud of yourself without needing validation. That's the unexpected joy, being okay without needing a reason. It may sound small, but it's everything. Because joy, when real, is a gateway. It opens doors you didn't knock on. It restores faith in life's intelligence. It reminds you that ease is not laziness, it's alignment. It's the natural result of tuning your vibration to what actually serves your expansion. But here's something you may not have realized. Joy isn't a reward. It's a signal. It tells you that the work you've done, the inner reflection, the emotional rewiring, the courage to question old stories, it's working. The field has shifted. The mirror is cleaning itself. You're no longer begging the world to change. You've changed, and life is responding. It's responding with softness, with harmony, with flow. And when that joy becomes consistent, not flashy, not performative, just stable, you've entered a new phase. A frequency that doesn't require effort to maintain. A state of being that feels natural, because it is. This isn't the end of your journey. It's the first time you're truly walking it. And the real surprise? You don't need to do anything grand. You just need to keep your field clean. Your emotions honest. Your presence real. The universe will do the rest. Momentum. That exhilarating moment when something inside you clicks, and suddenly you move. Not because you're being pushed by fear, but because you're pulled by energy. The right energy. The shift is hard to describe, but unmistakable. You wake up with a new sense of urgency, not the anxious kind, but the inspired kind. Your heartbeat syncs with a deeper rhythm. A rhythm that whispers, this is your time. This is the frequency of momentum. And it's not just a change in mood. It's a full-body awakening. A reminder that you are not just a passive observer of your life, you're the current, the spark, the vibration that sets everything in motion. When this wave hits you, it feels like you're finally aligned with something bigger. Your steps become lighter, decisions clearer, creativity louder. It's the kind of surge that can't be faked. You feel it in your bones. You're not trying anymore. You're responding. Responding to a universe that's now reflecting back your alignment in real time. Doors open without knocking. Conversations lead to breakthroughs. People show up who speak the same language you once thought no one else understood. And it surprises you, not because it's impossible, but because you forgot how possible it always was. Here's the truth. This frequency isn't random. It's the reward for every moment you didn't give up. Every night you questioned everything but kept going anyway. Every decision to feel your feelings rather than run from them. Every step, no matter how small, toward your truth. That momentum? It's been building. And now that it's here, you realize something huge. You don't need to force your future. You need to fuel your field. Because when your field is clear, momentum becomes natural. It becomes magnetic. You move from fighting life to flowing with it. From resistance to expansion. From confusion to direction. Let's ground this with a real example. Ever notice how once you commit to something fully, really fully, things start moving fast? You enroll in a course, and suddenly, you meet someone who's on the same journey. You speak your dream out loud, and opportunities appear. You clean your space, and your mind feels clearer. You change your energy, and the world changes with you. That's not coincidence. That's frequency-based acceleration. The moment your vibration aligns with action, you enter a new loop. Momentum feeds motivation, which feeds clarity, which feeds more momentum. You no longer need to fake it till you make it. You're in it, embodying it, becoming it. And that surprises you, doesn't it? Because for so long, you believed it had to be hard. That success only came from struggle. That life only responds to suffering. But now, the truth is undeniable. Ease is not the absence of effort. It's the presence of alignment. And this momentum doesn't feel frantic. It feels clean, elevated, purposeful, like you've tapped into a current that was always there, just waiting for you to match it. You stop asking, what do I need to do? And start feeling into, what wants to move through me right now? You're not chasing anymore. You're choosing. That energy, your excitement, your enthusiasm, it's not random. It's intelligence. It's the field saying yes. Not a whisper of maybe, but a roar of go. And here's where it gets powerful. When you follow that yes, you stop negotiating with doubt. You stop diluting your power to fit in rooms that never resonated with your truth. You stop postponing your expansion for the comfort of others. You start making choices that feel like you. And the universe responds, not someday, but now. Because when your inner field reaches a vibrational threshold, reality doesn't resist. It flows. It obeys. It cooperates. Your external world becomes a stage that adjusts to your internal spotlight. You don't have to scream to be seen. You radiate and the world listens. Momentum isn't a reward. It's an invitation. An invitation to trust your own speed. To stop overthinking and start vibrating. To let joy become your GPS and alignment your fuel. So when the energy rises, don't pull back. Lean in. The universe is already moving. Now it's your turn to dance with it. Progress has a strange face. Sometimes it looks like success, goals reached, results manifested, timelines fulfilled. But other times, progress looks like stillness, like quiet healing in the dark, like stepping away from what no longer fits even though it once felt like everything. This is the paradox of progress. It often feels like loss before it feels like liberation. And that can be confusing, because you're finally starting to feel proud of the inner work. You're no longer repeating old mistakes. You're seeing signs that you're moving forward. But something still stings. Maybe it's the relationships that faded quietly. The people who stopped understanding you. The version of yourself that no longer feels familiar. Even though you're happier, even though you feel more aligned, there's a subtle grief for the parts of you that had to die so the new you could live. This is not a failure. It's a recalibration. And this mix of emotions, joy for what's blossoming, sadness for what's fading, it's natural. It's human. It's part of the energetic rebirth process. You've been planting new seeds. But to grow something real, the soil must be cleared. And sometimes that means letting go of dreams that weren't yours, friendships that became misaligned, or expectations that no longer fit your vibration. You may feel lonely at times, not because you're behind, but because you've outgrown what used to keep you company. This isn't regression. This is refinement. And it takes courage to sit in that space where pride and pain coexist. Where you can feel good about who you're becoming and still miss who you were. Because that version of you tried. That version carried you here. Real life example? Think of the moment someone leaves a job that once gave them security but no longer aligns with their soul. There's relief, but also doubt. There's excitement, but also fear. There's pride, but also sadness. Because growth doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes, it comes with silence. That quiet moment when you realize you're not where you were, but not quite where you're going. You're in between, shedding the past, building the future, and learning to find peace in the void. This is the initiation phase. The field is testing your consistency. Will you still hold your vibration when it's not celebrated? Will you still trust your alignment when the results aren't instant? If you do, you unlock something powerful. Emotional maturity. The ability to hold multiple truths at once. To honor the sadness without collapsing into it. To feel joy without needing everything to be perfect. This is where pride becomes internalized, not in what you've achieved, but in how you've evolved. In how you didn't give up. In how you continued healing even when no one was watching. You start to respect your own process. You become your own witness. Your own cheerleader. Your own safe space. And suddenly, satisfaction doesn't need external proof. It arises from the quiet awareness. I've come far. I'm still going. And I'm proud of that. You stop needing validation to feel worthy. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop rushing the timing of your destiny. Because now you know, the field works in seasons. There are seasons of bloom. And seasons of rest. Seasons of movement. And seasons of internal recalibration. And in each one, your vibration is guiding the timeline. The consistency of your frequency is worth more than speed. Here's what most people don't realize. Joy and sadness are not enemies. They are partners in awakening. Joy shows you what's possible. Sadness shows you what was holding you back. Together, they sculpt you, shape you, humble you, and help you become emotionally whole. So if you feel pride but also feel the ache of letting go, that's not weakness. That's wisdom. You're not broken. You're blooming. And even if you can't yet see the full result, the vibration has already been cast. The mirror is realigning. The reality is catching up. Keep walking. The joy you feel is valid. The grief you feel is sacred. Both are proof that you're alive, that you're evolving, that you're becoming someone new. There's a specific moment in every awakening journey where the ground starts to feel different. Not because it's unstable, but because you are about to take a leap. You feel the thrill in your chest. The excitement builds. Something big is coming. Something new, unfamiliar, maybe even life-changing. And then, almost immediately, the worry follows. What if I'm wrong? What if I lose what I already have? What if I can't handle what comes next? This is the crossing point. You are standing at the edge of your old vibration, looking out toward a new frequency that you've never fully embodied. And it scares you, because even though you want to change, your nervous system still clings to the past. Not because it was good, but because it was known. Here's the paradox. Excitement and fear often feel the same in the body. Both bring racing hearts. Both tighten the stomach. Both whisper, something is about to happen. But where fear paralyzes, excitement calls you forward. So ask yourself, what are you really feeling? Maybe you finally realize that staying in the same place is more painful than taking a risk. Maybe the life you've outgrown is becoming unbearable. Or maybe, just maybe, your soul is done shrinking just to fit what feels safe. This is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. The fear you feel? That's your inner programming trying to keep things predictable. But you are not here to live a life of emotional autopilot. You are here to awaken. And awakening always comes with friction. Imagine this moment as a vibrational doorway. Behind you are old beliefs. I'm not ready. I'm not worthy. Who am I to do this? In front of you is the life that already exists at the frequency of your next self. The only way to step through is to trust the vibration before the result. This is how real transformation happens. And yes, it's uncomfortable. It's vulnerable. You might feel like you're being pulled apart at times. One foot in the old, one foot in the new. But discomfort is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're close. Let me give you an example. A woman decides to leave a career she's mastered for 15 years. It's paid well. It's respected. But something inside has been calling for years. Whispers of purpose, creativity, meaning. The day she resigns, she's filled with joy. Then comes the fear. What if this was a mistake? What if I just destroyed everything? But days later, she starts getting messages. People who want to collaborate. Synchronicities that confirm her decision. Moments where, for the first time, she feels truly alive. That's the power of leaping at the right frequency. Because the universe doesn't respond to safety. It responds to coherence. And when your action matches your vibration, even the unknown becomes sacred ground. This part of the journey is where most turn back. Not because they lack desire, but because they mistake fear for failure. But listen closely. Fear is not always a no. Sometimes, fear is proof that you're stepping out of your pattern. And that pattern, of hesitation, playing small, staying hidden, it was never your truth. It was survival. Now it's time for expansion. To make the jump from excitement to embodiment, you must stop feeding the old vibration. Stop repeating the inner dialogue that keeps you frozen. Stop negotiating with your doubts like they have more authority than your dreams. This is your new mantra. I am allowed to change without knowing the whole plan. I am allowed to be excited without apologizing for it. I am allowed to feel afraid and still move forward. You're not here to wait until it's safe. You're here to make it sacred by trusting the pull inside you. And the universe? It's already shifting in response. You just have to hold the field long enough to see it reflected back. So the next time fear whispers, "What if it all goes wrong?" Let excitement answer, "But what if it all goes right?" Because the vibration of courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move with it, not under it. And once you cross that vibrational threshold, once you leap, you'll see the truth. You were never standing at the edge of a cliff. You were standing at the entrance to flight. There comes a moment in your awakening when something unexpected happens. After all the searching, healing, releasing, you suddenly feel something you haven't felt in a long time. But real joy. Not the kind you fake in photos or chase in fleeting pleasures. But the kind that lives deep in your bones. The kind that doesn't need a reason. And it surprises you. Because it appears in the middle of chaos. In the middle of uncertainty. In the middle of a life you haven't fully figured out yet. You catch yourself smiling, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer waiting for perfection to feel whole. This is a new frequency. One that says, I'm allowed to be happy now. Not later. Not when things align. Not when I've proven myself. Now. And yet, almost immediately, another feeling rises behind it. Not the kind that screams, but the kind that whispers. What if this is too good to be true? What if it disappears? What if I lose it all again? You panic at your own peace. You're not alone. This is a common emotional conflict in spiritual growth, joy versus fear of losing joy. Because your nervous system may still associate happiness with danger. Like something bad always follows the good. It's a survival loop. Trauma has taught many of us that joy isn't safe. That we must stay alert, keep guarded, expect loss. But this is a false memory echoing through your field. Joy is not a trick. It is your natural state, waiting to be reclaimed. Here's what most people miss. It takes more courage to hold joy than it does to hold pain. Pain is familiar. It's been rehearsed. Joy, on the other hand, is expansive, unpredictable, vulnerable. You can control sadness by shrinking. But you must surrender to joy by expanding. And expansion is terrifying at first. It's like your energy field suddenly becomes bigger than your excuses, bigger than your limitations, bigger than your old identity. You start to see what's really possible for you. And that truth shakes the foundation of who you thought you had to be. It makes sense that you panic. The mind races. Do I deserve this? Will people still love me if I shine this brightly? Will it last? That last one hits hardest. Will it last? But joy does not ask to be permanent. It asks to be present. And that's the invitation, To sit in the moment and let joy be real now, without needing a guarantee, a plan, or permission. Let me tell you a story. A man who had been depressed for most of his adult life suddenly experienced what he called a moment of unbearable peace. It was simple. He was walking, the sun hit his face, and for a second, he felt joy. But it scared him. He said, "I didn't know what to do with it. I felt like if I let it in, it would destroy me." He wasn't afraid of pain. He was afraid of healing. And this is the wound many of us carry. But here's the truth. Joy does not destroy you. It dissolves the shell you built to survive without it. And once that shell cracks, your essence begins to shine through. You don't have to run from joy. You don't have to doubt its arrival. You don't have to shrink when it finds you. You just have to breathe. This is the vibrational maturity you're stepping into. Learning to hold happiness without bracing for loss. Allowing pride without fearing judgment. Embodying brightness without apologizing for it. The universe doesn't reward pain. It responds to resonance. If you can hold this joy, if you can keep returning to it, nurturing it, honoring it without trying to clutch or cage it, then joy becomes your baseline. And when joy is your baseline, the mirror of reality changes. People treat you differently. Opportunities flow more easily. Your body even starts healing on deeper levels. Because joy is not decoration. It's vibration. And a joyful field is a powerful attractor, not just of what you want, but of what aligns with who you truly are. So the next time joy visits you, don't push it away. Don't panic. Don't overthink. Don't sabotage. Welcome it. Sit with it. Let it expand. Because joy, held consistently, is the frequency of transformation. And once you hold it long enough, it no longer becomes something you feel. It becomes who you are. If you've made it this far, something inside you is no longer the same. This isn't just a video. It's a transmission, a vibrational initiation, a mirror that speaks to the version of you that was waiting for permission to awaken fully. Now you feel it in your chest, the pulse, the stir, the energy that says, "I have to do something." But then, the resistance creeps in. What do I do now? Where do I begin? Am I really ready for this? This is the final test of vibrational awakening. Because awareness without action changes nothing. And action without coherence pulls you backward. The truth is, this isn't just about absorbing powerful ideas. It's about becoming them. This moment is the call to rise. Not through pressure, not through ego, but through aligned frequency. You feel the pull because the frequency has entered your field. You can't unhear this. You can't unfeel this. You've already crossed a threshold, and now the energy around you is shifting, waiting to see what signal you will send next. This is where most people hesitate. They feel the excitement, the desire, the truth of everything. But then they freeze at the edge of action. Because real change means letting go of the identity that survived. It means choosing the unknown. It means trusting a field you can't yet see, only feel. And that takes faith in vibration. Not blind faith, not naive optimism, but energetic precision, knowing that the universe reflects not what you hope, but what you are. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to figure it all out. You only need one thing, a conscious decision to align with your next frequency and hold it. From that alignment, action becomes clear. From that clarity, momentum builds. And from that momentum, reality organizes. So let's make it real. If even one sentence in this journey made your heart race, your thoughts pause, or your soul sit up straighter, that is no accident. That was resonance. And resonance is not a moment. It's a message. It's as something inside you is ready. Not someday. Not when you have time. This is your mirror. This entire experience is not something you stumbled upon randomly. It is a reflection of your readiness. And it is giving you a choice, return to default, or respond as the new self. Let me be clear, there is no going back. Once the vibration shifts, staying the same will begin to hurt more than growth ever did. That tension you feel? That's the old identity resisting the upgrade. It doesn't mean something's wrong. It means something powerful is unfolding. But here's where most get stuck. They expect the universe to act first, to show proof, to give signs, to move the pieces. But the second law, the law of correspondence, says the opposite. You move first. The field responds. This is the leap. This is the moment where your decision becomes energetic, where you tell the field, I am ready, not just with words, but with frequency. And when that happens, the mirror must change. This is the point of no return. When you stop consuming content and start living the code. When your like is not just support, it's a seal. When your subscription is not just a follow, it's a declaration. When your comment is not just a reaction, it's an echo of truth. So if you felt it, if this entire message felt like it was written for you, then don't let it fade away. Don't let your field fall back into forgetfulness. Anchor the shift. Right now, write in the comments, I am the reflection. Because you are. Everything you heard was already within you. This just reminded you. And from here, everything changes. Not because you chase it, not because you force it, but because you finally remembered how to become it. See you where the vibrations rise. See you where thought becomes form. See you in the mirror that no longer reflects your past, but your next self.